And good morning, everybody, and welcome back to CJTV. Those of you who have been with us this week, you know where we are. We are in the middle of the Gospel of Luke, chapter 22. Those of you joining us for the first time, we do a book-by-book, verse-by-verse Bible study each and every weekday, where we publish and we do an exploration of the very living words of God. And we're currently in the Gospel of Luke, the physician. And Jesus, in this particular chapter, to catch you up and those that are joining us for the first time or have rejoined us, this is really a very interesting chapter because at the core of the chapter, Jesus is trying to bring his disciples with him and get them to a place of understanding that he is about to leave them. He is preparing his disciples, trying to, the best he can, for what is to come. Of course, nothing can prepare them for what is really coming. But there's another plot that's going on behind the scenes, a deceptive plot, a plot to kill Jesus. This is a plot that's been going on for some time, and now, unfortunately, it has lured in one of Jesus' own disciples. Lured one of his disciples to betray him. And so what you see here in this particular chapter is Jesus is preparing the Passover. He has begun to institute now what we enjoy even today, the Lord's Supper. And before the disciples get to a place of arguing, which we will get to in the coming days of who is the greatest, we come to a place where the betrayer is revealed. And I believe Jesus and God has such an amazing way of layering his story. A story that puts Jesus right in the center, a focus right on the Son of God. But it doesn't end there. What Jesus has done is Jesus is outlining within his story a narrative. It's the greatest love story ever told. But in that narrative, there are going to be people that betray God's children. Hold on to that thought, because the central figure in the story is Jesus. But the story doesn't end there. So as we open our Bibles, picking up where we left off last time, remember what is happening here. In this particular chapter, Jesus has now instituted the Lord's Supper. He has proclaimed when the hour had come. He sat down with his 12. He's got his inner circle of 3. And amongst the 12, there is one. One in which is going to betray the very beloved, the only begotten Son of God. And of course, as he took the cup, and this is after supper, and he's saying, this is the cup of the new covenant. This is the cup of the new covenant in my blood, which is shed for you and me and every believer. But then he goes on to say, but behold, the hand of my betrayer. Oh, what a statement. The hand of my betrayer is with me on the table. And truly the Son of Man goes as it has been determined. And this is where we're picking up, right? We're going to be picking up here where we left off. So that's where we are today, verse 21. But behold, the hand of my betrayer is with me on the table. And truly, the Son of Man goes as it has been determined. But woe to that man by whom he is betrayed. And then they began to question among themselves, verse 23, which of them it was who would do this thing. Friends, this would seem to indicate in verses 21 to 23 that it is without question Judas Iscariot, remember there's more than one Judas here, is present. He is present with Jesus. He is present when when Jesus passed the bread and the cup to his disciples. He is fully present with the 12. Although you read some scholarly papers and some students of theology, and they bring it up as a matter of debate. But this seems so obvious to me. It is obvious to me that the disciples are there together, they are convened together, and Judas is there with them. Because Jesus goes on to say that he that takes that which different gospels give different accounts of the story. So it's always wise to read all of the gospels, and the one that may be the most fully vetted is from the Gospel of John. So Luke gives you an account, a look into. Each of the Gospels gives you a various look, and different details are presented in each of the Gospels. We may get into the Gospel of Mark next and explore it from Mark's perspective. We've done it from John's. Now we've done it from Luke's. I think going in through Mark's would be wise, and then maybe following with Matthew. But he goes on to say, the Son of Man goes as it has been determined. Determined, sovereignly written about, prophesied from ages of old. It was determined by prophecy that our Messiah, the Christ, should be betrayed. Brother GB, what do you mean? Well, let's just look at Psalm 41, verse 9. Psalm 41, verse 9 says this, even my own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, who ate my bread, has lifted up his heel against me. Nevertheless, though, woe to that man. Woe to that betrayer. So when you look at this, Judas could never claim, I don't believe Judas could ever claim that he helped Jesus fulfill this prophecy. This was already determined. But without question, it appears to jump off the page of Scripture that Judas was and is fully accountable for his sin, for his decision to sin, for his free will to act on this betrayal. Without question, this speaks to the heart of humanity. God has given us a spirit of free will, the ability to choose, and choose wisely or choose unwisely. In this particular case, Judas Iscariot, the betrayer, he betrays Jesus, the Son of God, for money. Let that sink in. So much of this world is focused on greed. So much of this world and the people within it, they grade others by the things of this world, by the status of this world, by the positions one may hold. But Jesus tries to get that across to his disciples. You shall not be like them. You shall not laud over them the power. You shall not laud over them the prestige. You shall not lord over others your position. God desires for you, for me, and for every one of his messengers, his children, to be like him, to walk in accordance with the way Jesus walked, which is with a humble, gracious, compassionate, merciful, loving attitude, forgiving everyone everything every day. There's no doubt they began to question among themselves. So this shows that Judas kept his secret very well, because none of the other disciples knew it was Judas Iscariot. None of them even seemed to suspect him. In fact, they were asking themselves, who is it? Who is it? And it's clearly Judas Iscariot, as you will find in the Gospel of John, if you read that account. Because the next part of the story jumps into the final teachings to the disciples. And so the fullness of it is not really elaborated with depth in this particular book, but it's clear that Jesus has pointed out Judas. And then he says, of course, do quickly what you have come to do, as we will come to find out in the pages to come of sacred scripture. So as you prepare yourselves and prepare your heart for what is to come in the final verses of this chapter, we'll pick up where we left off today in verse 24. But woe to that betrayer. Woe to the betrayer who betrays the sons of God. It all started with the only begotten, Jesus Christ. My friends, I'm your messenger GB here at CJTV. Thanks so much for joining us each and every weekday. Come back and join us tomorrow, where we'll pick up where we left off. Until then, have a blessed day.